Thanks for joining us today. In today's episode, we're going to take this pieces of lumber and log that we chainsawed up and make them into some rustic looking birdhouses. Stay with us.
Desperado, sitting in a old Monte Carlo, a man whose heart is hollow.
Welcome to the Two Dumbass Workshop. In today's episode, what we're doing is making some birdhouses. And what we've done is we've taken some logs that had some character to them and basically cut off a piece of laminate that we're going to use as a front for our birdhouse. And we also cut off some slabs that we're going to tinker around with to try to make some shingles for the birdhouse. So, Joel, what else you got to add?
Yeah, the only thing I would say is we're using a chainsaw here, and at least to cut these. If there's a better way, please let us know in the comments down below. But be careful with the chainsaw, especially when you're cutting and ripping these boards, because you can't really hold them, or you shouldn't hold them, and you got a live blade there. So just be careful with your chainsaw. I think we're going to be using our Milwaukee battery-driven crosscut saw, which you can see that episode right up here. But step one here, I think, is cutting these to the appropriate dimensions, lengths, because we can only deal with this width, and cutting them to the length, and then we got to decide if we wanted a 45-degree angle roof or like a flat roof going back on them. So you're going to see us cutting on the cross-cut saw here the rest of the time. So we're intentionally not giving you dimensions here because it really depends on you're dealing with imperfect wood and what you really want to make this. So, so we're at the next step here, which is we think the best thing to do is to drill our holes in the front before we start attaching this to our box and the roof and everything else. So that's what we're going to do. We're using a 1-inch spade bit. Check the internet for the birds that you want to attract. You want to make it small enough that the birds we're trying to attract bluebirds here. So 1 inch to 1.5 inch, and you don't want starlings and sparrows and stuff to get in. So check the internet for that. So anyway, this step we're just going to start drilling holes where we want them, and we'll go from there. So we've got our hole drilled in our board here, and again we're dealing with imperfect wood that's not straight, and we're going to start attaching our sides here. So we're going to use cleats. Think of it as a 2x4 stud in a house on the inside here. We're going to leave about 1 inch clearance on the bottom for our base and 1 inch clearance at the top for the roof, and we'll attach the glue and nail this in, and then we're going to leave enough space on the side for my side walls to come in here and be as flush as they can be against this bark. So when you're looking at the birdhouse from the front, you shouldn't see any of the seams or anything like that. You're just going to see the side of the house.
And we're just using scrap wood for these cleats.
Scrap wood for the cleats. We are using hardwood because we want this to build to last. Simple construction. I think we're going to use air nailer to glue and nail this on, and we'll see what happens. So you can see the ribs that we put on here, the little cleats. Now we'll cut our sides to length. We want to leave a little bit of a gap here at the roof just to allow some ventilation to come up underneath this roof, and we'll leave some holes in the bottom of the birdhouse to allow ventilation to go through this in the summer, or if it gets wet or whatever, moisture in there. So just keep that in mind. Again, impossible to give you dimensions on this because each piece of wood is going to be different, but that's what we're going to attempt right now, is put the sides on. All right, we're cutting the bottom for this birdhouse out, and you can drill holes in this. You want some type of ventilation in this. If water gets in there, you want it to drip out the bottom, or you want to create some ventilation from the bottom up or the top down. So instead of drilling holes, we're just going to cut the corners of this bottom off at 45-degree angle. Leave a little bit of gap in there, and I'll show you what it looks like when we're done.
We've got this pretty well boxed in. We don't have the bottoms in yet. But what we're gonna do before we do that is we're gonna put fiberglass screen on both to allow it to breathe through the top and bottom. So what we're gonna do to kind of get this to blend in with the wood is we're gonna torch this and put a burnt finish on it and sand it if necessary. So that's our next step.
We've got this thing done. We've got another one to make, but this is the first prototype. The second one's going to be similar, but with, you know, an arched roof on it instead of a flat roof. How'd it turn out, Tim? What thoughts?
Man, I mean, for our first one, I'm pretty happy.
And it's not too often you hear about people making birdhouses with a chainsaw. So that's kind of what we've done, at least part of it anyway. But
yep.
Super happy with it. Would love comments down below. Some tips and tricks, anything we can share with the group?
So one of the things that we did is so these birdhouses need ventilation, right? So one of the things we did on the top and the bottom of the box and behind is we put in some fiberglass screening to keep, you know, wasps and big bugs out, but to allow ventilation all the way through. I thought that was a good, easy to cut.
I think that's a game changer. That's nice. Birds are going to love that, and it makes a lot of sense, because the last thing you want to do is open it up, clean it with a bunch of wasps in there, right?
Yeah.
We did on the bottom put screws in, so you can take the bottom off every year and clean them out, which you want to do with your birdhouses. Other than that, Tim, you toasted and burnt the wood, which, you know, we'll include pictures so you can get a better view from the pictures, but I think that really set off the grains and kind of the look that we were going for, right?
Yeah, it really looks good, I think. It really blends this hickory is what we used in with the bark.
Yeah, it was a fun project, and it turned out great. And it's always nice to use native lumber like that. It's just always something more creative. It is pretty heavy here. We constructed it in such a way that if you wanted to hang it from the top, it's got screws in from the top, so it's going to hold the weight. If you wanted to attach it from the back, you could do that at the bottom. We're not going to do that because this is going to be a donation, and we're not sure what people are going to want, but it's certainly constructed tough enough that you could attach this any way, shape, or form that you wanted to.
We added a stick. We were going to put a dowel in here. So I think it was you, Joel, came up with the idea. It's like, hey, rather than a dowel, let's put in a stick. So we put in a stick, cut it short. It's glued in. It's pretty firm. Other than that, I mean, I think that's it.
Yeah, I mean, let us know in the comments down below if you know how you did, if you want to take a shot at this, or have any questions or concerns or things that you would have done differently. We'd love to learn from you. So, but until next time, cheers, Tim.
Cheers.
Congratulations.
Yep.
Till next time, be safe, have fun, make some sawdust.